Kathryn Hahn, what drew you to the film Private Life?
Oh, what drew me to the film Private Life? So many things. But the first and foremost, it was the writing. Tamara Jenkins, who wrote the script, she also wrote The Savages, which I'm an enormous admirer of, and also Slums of Beverly Hills. And she just has a way of kind of honing into the absolute, the atom of truth in the middle of every moment or character, so that your every laugh, every kind of like catch in your throat is so perfectly earned and so incredibly specific to that person. Like, she just doesn't give up. She just has such incredible integrity as a writer. She just doesn't give up until she's kind of excavated, I suppose, like every nook and cranny, and like every possible moment. So as an actor, like, to be handed a script that is that cooked, that's that fully baked, is such a rarity and such a gift.
And what is the truth of Rachel?
And the truth of Rachel is that she's a woman in her 40s that is a writer and an artist, and she's kind of lived her whole life in her whole kind of adult life in the same kind of rent-stabilized apartment with her partner, husband Richard, who's a playwright and an artist as well. And I think they kind of lived the last 2 decades kind of flew by, where they kind of just didn't. I think that at all, like, they're freelancers. They never really had insurance. They never, like, all the things that they thought they were going to happen for them, all those dreams when they were in their 20s, all of a sudden they turn around and they're the same exact space, but nothing has shifted for them dream-wise. And I think that their fertility is a perfectly biological, concrete way of explaining all of the kind of a metaphor for the emotional kind of, I guess, infertility that they're also going through as well. It's existential what the two of them are going through as a marriage and humans, and also she can't have a baby, and it's like the absolute worst. She thinks that's the hole that needs to be filled, and they've been at it for so long that they don't even really remember who they were before trying to have a baby. And they can't even really picture it anymore. They've just been at it for so long. They think that that's going to be the answer. And she oh, sorry, I'm getting things.
That's fine. That's fine.
But she's I think feeling incredibly betrayed by her own biology and by what she was told in all of her feminist, writing classes back in college, that she was in somewhat control of, that she should be able to make decisions about her fertility. And then all of a sudden it's, clear that body's in charge. So I think that she's in a place of, like, I think the truth of her is that she's for real aching and for real lacking. And she thinks that the baby is going to be the thing. She's also really lucky in that she has a partner to go through it with.
Now, Kathryn, I'm getting a bit of an echo. Could you even turn the volume down a little bit? Or it's fine. I can cut this bit out. It's like, it sounds. I'm not getting one now, so that's good.
Okay, good.
Okay, Kathryn, like Rachel, you are an artist, but unlike Rachel, you have had children. How did those two things sort of inform how you approach the performance?
Like Rachel, I'm an artist. Not like Rachel. I think having children, I certainly, in this particular career for this particular human, my real creative life on camera didn't really start happening until after I had them for some reason. I think for me and for this person, I was able to, everything became much less precious. I had much less of a perspective. I had a real big case of the fuckets once they came along. And I think because of that, the more interesting work started to come towards me. For Rachel, because I think that she just feels betrayed by all of it. Like her work life, like nothing, her fertility in all ways, not just her biological fertility, but her creative fertility. I think like nothing is quite like producing. So I think that she just feels like infertile in all ways. But like Tamara and I always talked about like it's biblical, like Rachel's in the Bible, like that's like it's like we've heard these stories like forever, like, and Paul and I, but we kept talking about how I can't remember when at some point while we were making this, like we talked, I said, oh my God, do you remember, he always talked about waiting for Godot, and I was like, exactly. And then I at some point was like, God, I keep having these echoes of Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf too, of the two of them with this imaginary baby in their tiny overstuffed rental apartment, rent stabilized apartment with all of these books and all of this dust and all of these dreams that they had, and these like beautiful, vibrant minds that are just somehow just like trapped in amber. So I'm not sure if I'm exactly answering your question.
That's okay.
I don't think I am, but I do think, I guess, to answer the question, how I approached it from those different places, and I think I certainly know what it is to feel ache and to feel longing and to feel like if there's a space unfulfilled, or to feel like there's like a hollowness. Like I totally know that feeling, and to lean into that. For sure. Yeah, for sure. And I also did a bunch of I'm also happened to be at an age where a lot of my friends, I'm an actor and an artist, and a lot of my friends have decided to wait to have kids later in life and start families later in life, and I've seen a lot of them have a lot of success with assisted reproduction, and a lot of friends not have success, and a lot of friends have fertility issues, and so I have been able to see that as well. Yeah, I mean, just to kind of soak it in, also just to be around Tamara, who wrote and directed this, Tamara Jenkins, would not say that this is an autobiographical film, but she would, I think, say that it's emotionally autobiographical. She went through a version of this between After the Savages, and which was the last film that she made. She and her husband did. She has a daughter who's almost 9. But they went through versions of this event, like not in any way the same in any way. But she knows there's there's truth to it. And so I think just also being just in her space, I was able to, I'm playing, I wouldn't say I'm playing a version of her, but kind of are.
What's your favorite moment from the film?
I think my favorite is the last shot act. I think when we're sitting on the same. I mean, there's a lot, but I think that sticks out to me. There's a couple actually, but that sticks out to me because the last shot when the credits are rolling and we're both sitting on the same booth and we're waiting in expectation for a potential a potential birth mom to walk through the doors and into our lives. And there's a little bit of hope and a little bit of resignation and so many things going on. And I think why I love it is because it's why the movie moves me is that it's not really about a baby. It's not really a movie about having a baby. It's about this marriage, that it's the act of him getting up from one side of the booth and joining me on the other side, that's actually more important than whether or not she walks in through the door at the end. You know, that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes you stick around for the credits too. You see more of the credits.
Good. Everybody needs to see who the second was.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but it does always just kills me to see them sitting in that silence.
Yeah. What do you think about, I guess what I was going to ask is, with the film, was there any particularly surreal or special moments in making it?
I mean, this was a pretty holy shoot. I had never met Paul before doing this, and it felt like we had known each other for our whole lives. We'd gone to the same drama school. He's a few minutes older than me, but we had never met before, and so there was something in our chemistry. I mean, we instantly fell into the same dumb jokes, and I mean, we're just cut from such the same cloth. I feel like in terms of just actors, like, but when the cameras were rolling, excuse me, spicy salami, Matt. Please excuse me.
No,
but when the cameras were rolling, like, there was something that was just all I needed was in that beautiful face of his. Like I've been such an enormous fan of him forever. And it just felt like family when I looked into his eyes. Like it was something that I could never have anticipated. And Tamra is really a little bit of a sorcerer in putting us together. Because it felt like, of course, I'd never really felt that kind of chemistry with somebody. It just felt like we had known each other it really did. It just felt like fraternal, and that we were at war together. Like the whole thing felt, that was really blessed. And especially on a shoot like this, where it's this short and this rigorous and this cold and this, all this stuff that, that you didn't have to work for, was like, it just all felt like all we had to really do together was which was really difficult, was to try to do these beautiful words justice. But at least we didn't have to worry about the heart between us, because that was just there. It was really weird. I mean, it was such a pleasure to just watch him work.
What was the biggest challenge for you as an actress in this role?
I think it was hard for me to keep optimistic, if that makes sense, to keep hopeful, to not just like fall into, it was really difficult. There's a string of, the couple gets a lot of pieces of bad news, one after the other in the top of the movie. And it was very hard for me it's hard to just like roll your sleeves up and like can just keep pushing forward. There's something about of resilience in this couple, and like kind of like in a kind of like a Quixote, Don Quixote. Is that maybe the reference? Coyote and Don Quixote kind of way.
I thought you were going to say Wile E. Coyote, who keeps on going.
Wile E. Coyote
keeps on going for the Roadrunner, even though he's always
right. It's fine. That works as well. It must come from the same thing.
Yeah, maybe.
It must be. But that there was something about that was hard not to fall into. Because I wanted to just like burst into to tears, and had to like. It was hard not to be sentimental. It's like your emotions, like emotionally, it was like I just kept wanting to fall into it, and it was Tamra kept us in check, because she really kept pulling us back from it, because everything in me just wanted to like fall into the experience of this loss. Like it's such little deaths that they experience as couple, and she just kept like pulling us back from it. The like comedy, because it's also a very funny script as well, I think, and that and a lot of people have asked, like, how did you like modulate between the like, and that was nothing that we really had to worry about. Like, that was really not our business, because it was just in the writing of it. But for me, the trick was, I think, trying not to like sink it into into a really dark drama. Like, it was very hard for me to like not fall.
And I guess in this film, but also in some of the television work you've done, some of the other film work you've done, like, you're often straddling that line between comedy and drama. Do you find that they're different gears that you switch between, or is it the same? Like, do you approach comedy and drama similarly?
I think I have to approach everything in the same way, because I can, and if I don't, and there's some stuff that I haven't, and I can always smell it afterwards. Like, I can always see it, where I know that I'm just playing the room and rather than the scene, if that makes sense. But I think that if I don't, I just have to, I just have to connect it to really deeply with who I am and what I want, and that all comes down to the script. And I always kind of get in trouble if I look outside of those things. And then and then you just show up, and then everything you need is, and then you just have to like surrender Dorothy into the eyeballs of your scene partner, and you just receive, and you can't put any expectation on, you can't have any preconceived, you can't expect anything. Like, you can't want a reaction, you can't want to receive anything, you have to just receive. And that I think works for both. So is there more gas in a different kind of comedy than this kind of a comedy that's a little more delicate? Yes. There's definitely like more gas you put on something like Bad Moms, for example.
Yeah.
For example, like, there's definitely like a little more gas on the pedal, but I think that still has to come, like, if it's not like, if that rubber band is not taut inside from what I want to, like, what I'm trying to get on the outside, then it always feels really thin to me. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. What do you think the overriding question, the overriding idea or theme, or just what do you think audiences should take away from this film when they're walking out of the cinema?
I think it's resilience. I think it's optimism. I think, like Tamara has called it, like, there's a happiness, but it's kind of a muted happiness at the end. And I think it is a love story. Like, I know it sounds macabre to be talking about infertility, but in that context, but I really do think that there is something existential about it. There is about just like a portrait of a marriage that's able to endure something like this, that is, and to be able to go through it together. It's not just Rachel's infertility saga, it's also Richard's, and that they're able to go through it together. I mean, I really believe in them.
Well, Kathryn, it's been so great to talk about a film that channels Don Quixote all the way through to Wile E. Coyote, and all the best with the award season that's coming up. And congratulations for the work with Private.
Congrats on your beautiful purple sweater as well. It's fantastic.
No worries. I do what I can. This is, I think, this is a target item, I believe.
Oh, it's fantastic. All right. Well, happy almost holidays. Happy grading of whatever papers you have to do. And a pleasure talking to you, Matt, as usual.
Pleasure talking to you too. Yeah, no, it's really good.